Good morning. Did I not tell you I should take Mondays off? I had the best weekend ever with quite a nice surprise, and I will probably be writing about that at some point, or I will have written about this by the time you see this show. But I really needed not to do a show on Monday morning because I was sore. Lots of dancing, lots of fun. It was a great weekend. So I'm really enjoying my summer, and it's really nice to be able to say that. Um, so for today, here's what I have for you. I've been surprisingly quiet, according to some of you, about the Cosby case, the sexual assault trial of Bill Cosby. And I want to make a definite statement here that I am not a Bill Cosby fan. I never have been. Yes, I watched his show, but I watched it, the Huxtables, because I liked the kids. They were cute. They made you laugh. They were great actors. They were fun. I have never, in fact, I just learned this weekend that Bill Cosby was the voice of Fat Albert. I had no idea. So I'm not a Bill Cosby fan. But after listening to the trial and the jury coming back unable to reach a decision, and remember, this jury was diligent. They were sequestered. They were not from Norristown. They were from Pittsburgh. They left their homes, packed their bags, and were in a hotel. So if there was ever a reason to rush to a verdict, it would be during this situation. I don't actually approve of sequestered juries. And I don't approve of forcing jurors to move away from home to be part of a jury, because I think it makes for a rushed verdict in some cases. But this jury was diligent. And they did weigh the evidence, and they debated a long time. They deliberated a long time. In fact, it was the judge who prolonged their agony as jurors, because jury duty is one of the worst things you can ever do, that can ever happen to you. You don't get paid well. You are told if you don't respond to jury duty, you will go to jail. And they treat you like shit. They don't treat you very well. Read some of the books that the O.J. Simpson jurors wrote after their horrible nightmare of 8 months being sequestered. It's not fun being a juror. But these people did their job, and they came to the same conclusion that I actually did, hearing and watching some of the trial. And while I am not a Bill Cosby fan, I am also not the kind of woman, and you all know this, who jumps up to defend any woman just because she is a woman who claims to be a victim of sexual assault, especially when it takes that woman over a decade to report the assault. And that's my problem with the Andrea Constant complaint. It took a long time. In fact, if it were a rape charge, I believe the statute of limitations is 5 years. So they can't bring a rape charge against him. Here's my problem with Miss Constant's testimony, is that number one, she knew that Bill Cosby was interested in her sexually, because she testified she had fought him off before. She had said no before. So my question, if I were a juror, would be, why then would she accept a dinner invitation to Mr. Cosby's home, knowing that she would be alone with him yet again, knowing he had already made advances toward her sexually? And then why, when he gave her these 3 little pills, would she voluntarily, which she admits, she voluntarily took them? Why would she do that? That's a question. And that could be what hung the jury up, is Bill Cosby admitted he gave her pills, but that she took them voluntarily. She also came to his house voluntarily, knowing that he was interested in her sexually, even though she did not reciprocate those feelings, because she testified that once she took the pills, she couldn't fight him off, quote, as she had in the past. That's a problem for me. And I will rush to defend any woman who is a true victim of sexual assault or forcible rape. But I also have always jumped to the defense of young men, especially high school boys and college students who have been falsely accused of these very crimes. And I know that technically, especially the feminists out there who yell at me all the time, you are not allowed to be attacked for how you dress if you're a woman. That, you go out in public, you can wear anything you want, but if you say no, no means no. Now, if you say no, no does mean no. But I want to show you something. Right now, today, here's how I'm dressed. I'm dressed to go to the beach because that's how I'm going to spend my afternoon, at the beach, because I live at the beach. Now, I am dressed completely appropriately, okay? I look cute. I'm going to get a nice tan. That's what I want. I've got a bathing suit on and a little skirt, okay? I'm perfectly appropriately dressed. When I go to the beach today, I will look like everybody else on the beach. So I'm not, by my appearance, saying, hey, come and get it. Okay? Now, if I am invited to a gentleman's home, and I know it's just going to be him and me, and I know that he is interested in me, and I'm not interested in him, I'm not wearing this outfit. Okay? And the last thing I would do is, if he offered me a couple of pills, just pop them in my mouth. That is the last thing I would do. And that is what hangs me up, and maybe what hung the jury up. They're not allowed to talk about it because the prosecutor says they're going to retry the case against Bill Cosby. I'm not sure that's a great idea. I think it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. Bill Cosby, first of all, for all his faults, because he's admitted that he did this. He drugged women so they would have sex with him. He cheated on his wife. He's not a good guy. He's a terrible guy. But is he a criminal at 80-something years old who legally blind? He's got health issues. Does he belong in jail for the rest of his life? Is he going to go out and do this again? Probably not. First of all, he can't even see. Second of all, he's really, really old. The women he would be interested in having sex with could probably fight him off by just blowing and knocking him over. I mean, he's very frail. He's not a healthy man. I don't see what the point is of putting him in jail. Now, let me say this before everybody starts putting their thumbs together and putting hate on me. I'm anti-woman, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. But it's been a long time. If Miss Constant, the day she woke up and said, oh my God, Bill Cosby drugged me and physically assaulted me, if she had gone straight from Bill Cosby's house to a police station, to a hospital, had a rape kit done, had a tox screen done to prove she had been drugged, lock him up and throw away the key. But she didn't do that. She didn't. She didn't tell anyone. And the other accusers who are all coming out of the woodwork now, all these women, they didn't go to the police either. Maybe it is the celebrity factor. Maybe they were afraid no one's going to believe me. But you know what? Physical evidence does go places. A tox screen would have proved they were given illicit drugs to make them unable to fight back. A rape kit would have shown that they had sex. And if he didn't use a condom, they would have DNA. But they don't have any of that. That's what makes this case such a no-winner. Nobody's going to win. Because there's just not enough there. And because, as far as Miss Constant is concerned, she voluntarily, he didn't pick her up off the street and kidnap her and tie her up and force sex on her. Oh, there's my dog. Sorry, it is a live show. He did not do any of that. He invited her to his home for dinner. She accepted the invitation. She accepted the pills. She took the pills. And what happened after that, she has to take responsibility for as well. That's the bottom line. And I think true victims of forcible rape, true victims of molestation and assault are harmed every time a case like this is brought to trial. Because we're not talking about teenagers. We're not talking about innocent women here who haven't been around the block a few times. We're talking about women who knew that this guy was a predator, that he was gunning to have sex with them, and they allowed themselves to be alone with him anyway. And that's putting yourself in danger. And while it's still a crime, it is still horrible that Bill Cosby did this, and even more horrible that he got away with it, part of the responsibility, part of the reason he got away with it, falls on the women themselves for not having the confidence in themselves, for not respecting themselves enough to walk into a police station and say, I was just assaulted by Bill Cosby, by Dr. Huxtable. And that's the problem right there. If this charge had been brought the day after it happened, lock him up and throw away the key. But waiting this long, and now having a prosecution team that kind of sounds like they just want to persecute this man in his old age. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. I'm sure there will be a big debate on this. And I can't wait to hear your opinions, because I was always on the fence about it. I am always on the fence when it takes 10, 12, 15, 20 years. Oh yeah, 20 years ago, this rich dude messed with me, and I guess the payout wasn't big enough, so now I'm going to charge him. I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me when someone actually says he gave me pills and I voluntarily popped them in my mouth and swallowed them. That doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me when someone says this guy gave me the heebie-jeebies, but I went to his home anyway. That doesn't sit right. And again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I am not a Bill Cosby fan. I could care less what happens to this man, which is why I didn't really comment on the trial that much. But when it was a deadlocked jury, that impressed me. And it impressed me because even with a sequestered jury, they did not rush to judgment. They didn't pack their bags on Thursday night because they wanted to be home for the weekend, especially Father's Day weekend. They kept saying to the judge, we're deadlocked. He said, go back and keep deliberating. And you know what they did? They kept deliberating. And it would have been so easy for them to say, look, we've been here. We want to go back to Pittsburgh for Father's Day. Somebody needs to change their minds and let's just get a verdict. We don't care. You know, we're not getting paid good for this. They're not treating us right. Let's just get it done. They didn't do that. And I applaud that jury for that. They did not care. But they were not going to give a nullified jury. They were not going to give a verdict simply because they were rushing to get back to Pittsburgh. And because the judge said, I want a verdict in this case. They weren't going to do it. And we can give them credit. Those 12 people on that jury are good American citizens. They did their job diligently. Because believe me, even if I really thought, God help me, even if I thought the guy was innocent, but everybody wanted guilty and I was the only one saying innocent, and they said, well, you can keep going and we'll be here all weekend, or we can go home tomorrow, I'll be like, all right, I'll change my mind. What do I care? He's 80 years old. I don't care. These jurors didn't do that. They did their job. So anybody who was bitching about the jury, like I think Gloria Allred, the lawyers for some of the alleged victims of Bill Cosby, was out saying, or blaming the judge like the prosecutors wanted to do. No. Bill Cosby got a fair trial. And this jury did an excellent job, especially under the hard circumstances of being sequestered very far away from home. So, you guys are going to decide now. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not a Cosby fan. I don't know Miss Constant. I read and heard her testimony, and I think there's some questions that should have been asked to her. I really do. And the fact that Bill Cosby's defense team only put on one witness and then did a closing statement and the jury was still deadlocked, it kind of means to me the jury's had the same questions that I have. And once again, we always want to protect both our girls and our boys. And that's why I always tell you parents out there, tell your boys how to protect themselves. Tell them that no always means no. Tell your boys that if they get a little drunk or the girl is a little drunk, walk away. Walk away. Tell your girls that while it is okay to dress cute and look great, don't be alone with somebody or get in a car with somebody that you think may have an interest in you that you don't reciprocate or that you're uncomfortable with. Call your parents. Come pick me up. You know, this guy's kind of harassing me. He wants to give me a ride home. I don't feel comfortable. Come get me. I bet most parents out there would jump in the car. No questions asked. Don't let yourself, you ladies and boys and girls alike, don't let yourself get into the position where anyone can take advantage of you. Don't get stupid drunk among people you don't know that well and not have a way out, a safe way home. Don't rely on somebody that you don't know that well and get in a car with them. Don't go into a bedroom with them alone or a room alone with them. Take a girlfriend or a guy friend with you that will watch your back all night. You know, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Okay, I'll stay with you all night. And same thing with the guys, because believe me, there have been a lot of young men out there who have had their lives ruined by girls who falsely accused them of sexual assault and rape. So it's both ways. I want every true rapist out there and every true victim of rape, male or female, to be prosecuted. I want the victims to have their day in court and to get justice and healing. And I don't ever want a boy or a young man that I love to be wrongly accused and wrongly convicted of something that he didn't do either. So we need to protect both our young men and our young women. And for predators like Bill Cosby, who obviously enjoyed doing this, drugging women because they kept saying no to him and he didn't like hearing no, well, he's a problem. But he's not a problem anymore. He's not going to be going out there drugging women and having sex with them. Not anymore. And I think while it is unfortunate for the victims who feel that they're not getting closure, I think after all these decades, you would have thought they might have had closure, or they should have reported it when it happened. But at the end of the day, I think the prosecutors in Norristown, Pennsylvania, may have current crimes, real victims that are needing help right now, and real perpetrators that will continue to repeat their offenses that maybe they should be prosecuting instead of trying to persecute Bill Cosby for something that happened decades ago. I'm Political Paula. It's my show. This is my opinion. And you guys are welcome to debate it. I can't wait to see what you all come up with. For now, Political Paula is out.